everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another Bible story I am going to read. So, you have to be ready to hear the Bible story. It's entitled God and the Grumblers. God and the Grumblers are the title of our story. This is our second story. Not long after the death of Nadab and Abihu, somebody noticed that the cloud that had hovered over the tabernacle for the past 7 weeks seemed to be moving again. Word spread like wildfire through the camp. The cloud! Look at the cloud! It's moving! It was, and it was moving toward the promised land. What excitement! They were going to leave Sinai at last. In a little while, they would be in Canaan. It seemed too good to be true. Eagerly, the people packed up their goods and folded their tents, ready for the journey. Cattle and sheep were rounded up, oxen were harnessed to the wagons. The Levites began to take the tabernacle apart and roll up the massive curtains, covering the precious furniture with clothes that had been made for this purpose. Soon the whole camp was on the march. For 3 days they journeyed. Once more the cloud stood still. The Levites put up the tabernacle and the 12 tribes camped around it. At first the people were very happy, happier indeed than they had been since that wonderful night when they left Egypt. They felt that they were on their way at last. Soon they would be in Canaan, land of their dreams. So they thought, but it was not to be. They were not ready for Canaan. They had many lessons still to learn. They had seen God's miracle at the Red Sea. They had heard His voice from Mount Sinai. They had eaten His manna every day for many months. But they did not truly love Him. Their faith in Him was still very weak. They had not been at their new campsite many days when grumbling broke out again. Some complained about one thing and some about another. Some did not like the fearful desert they were in and wished they were back at Sinai. Others said there was not enough grass for their cattle. Others thought they had to walk too far to get water. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord. Fire broke out in the camp. Many people were burned to death. When the people cried to Moses for help, he prayed to God, and the fire was quenched. But even this lesson did not stop the grumbling for long. Soon it began again. Some of the mixed multitude who had come along with Israel from Egypt began it this time, but the Israelites were quick to join them. Now the trouble was food. They were tired of the manna and wanted meat. Who shall give us flesh to eat? They cried. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna. There was a sneer in their voices, as they said, "This manna," and God did not like it. And he liked it less when they all began to weep about it. Every man in the door of his tent. Poor, foolish people. They could remember all the good things they had had to eat in Egypt, but had forgotten the bondage they had endured. The taskmasters, the beatings, the heavy work, yes, and they had forgotten all that God had done for them during their 14 months of freedom. Once more, Moses turned to God for help. When should I have flesh to give it unto all these people? He said, for they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh, that we may eat. God told him not to worry. He would see that the people got flesh, and that it would last them a whole month. But how? Asked Moses. The people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh. But they may eat a whole month. But they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them? And the Lord said unto Moses, is the Lord's hands waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. Moses should have remembered too, for the Lord had opened him out of a tight corner like this once before, soon after the Israelites had left Egypt. Next day the wind began to blow from the Red Sea, and with it came the quails again, only this time in countless thousands. The air was quick with them. They flew in every low, about 3 feet above the ground, and as they did so, the people knocked them down with sticks or caught them with their bare hands. Every man and woman, every boy and girl collected heaps of them. What a feast! They had cried for flesh. Now they had it, all they could eat. 4 days and days they ate nothing but quail, morning, noon, and night. They did not bother about the manna, just the quail. And they ate quail flesh until they were sick of the very sight of it. Many ate so much they became ill. A plague broke out. Hundreds died of food poisoning and overeating. Every day there were more and more funerals. So many people died that this first stopping place on the road to Canaan was given a new name, Kibroth Hatava. It's a long name, but it's worth remembering. It means the graves of lost. That's where the greedy people were buried. Kibroth Hatava. This is the end of the story. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on my next vlog. God bless. Our Bible verse for today is Philippians chapter 4, verses 6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Thanks be to God for His word.